Yo, bro, the first day I met Dame, he was living in that projects on First Avenue.
Yeah, 1199. Yep.
Yep, he was living there. It was him, T Strong, and Jay. These went across the street to some sneaker store and bought all the motherfucking A solos out.
Right.
Like, so my first day of meeting Dame was like, God damn, he chewing.
So just for the audience, they look at Jay-Z and they see this billionaire, and it's been so long since he hasn't been that. He's been that for a long, long time. Like, I defend Jay-Z so much when people be like, yo, what, that wasn't getting no street money. That wasn't doing this or doing that. And I'll be like, I don't see the thing about it, Bleek, is this. I don't know Marcy Jay-Z. I know 560 State Street Jay-Z. So when I used to go with Dame to J House, I'm like, this ain't no struggling rap. Nigga got fish tanks in the wall.
Jay-Z was never playing catch up. He was already playing chess while everybody else was still figuring out checkers. Cameron and Memphis Bleek just gave us one of the realest reminders of that, not through hype, but through stories that show how deep Jay-Z's vision ran before the world even caught on. You can hear it in the way they talk about those early days, before Roc-a-fella was even a dynasty, before the billions, before the business deals. Jay-Z was already living way different. We're talking about fish tanks in the wall, real money moves, and a quiet confidence that screams success without even saying a word. See, what a lot of people don't realize is that Jay-Z never had a come-up moment the way most rappers do. He was already ready. While people were still figuring out who he was already 5 steps ahead, thinking about ownership, thinking about business structure, thinking about branding before it was even a buzzword. Cam and Bleek weren't just telling stories here. They were exposing a mindset. Now, I'm about to play this clip for y'all, but before I do, I just need y'all to like, leave y'all thoughts down below in the comment section, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Dame was always like the big homie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Him, Jay, and Biggs, I showed them the same amount of respect because they changed my life, all 3 of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Dame, his energy, man, I love Dame, bro. You kidding me? That's the reason why we pop tags to this day. Why I gotta wear new ears every day? Like Dame was that nigga. He made sure everybody in the crew was fly and everybody was on their shit. You know what I mean?
But you felt like that from day one? Because the reason I'm asking that is because Dame is like, soon as he, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, bro, the first day I met Dame, he was living in that projects on First Avenue.
Yeah, 1199. Yep.
Yep, he was living there. It was him, T Strong, and Jay. These niggas went across the street to some sneaker store and bought all the motherfucking A solos out.
Right.
Like, so my first day of meeting Dame was like, God damn, he chewing.
Right. That's what's up. That's a fact. So when did you know that? Because like, so for just for the audience, they look at Jay-Z and they see this billionaire, and it's been so long since he hasn't been that nigga. He's been that nigga for a long, long time. When did you realize that, yo, this shit might pop? This whole thing could be something totally different? Because what I was going to say is, like, I defend Jay-Z so much when people be like, yo, that nigga wasn't getting no street money. That nigga wasn't doing this or doing that. And I'll be like, I don't see the thing about it, Bleek, is this. I don't know Marcy Jay-Z. I know 560 State Street Jay-Z. So when I used to go with Dame to J House, I'm like, this ain't no struggling rap. Nigga got fish tanks in the wall. Like, yo, yo, it's upstairs in this building. I remember used to go into his house with Dame, and I used to be so, because Jay wasn't on yet, and I used to be more hyped to see Lord Jamal. Lord Jamal lived in the building, and I used to be like, oh shit, the brand Nubian nigga is in the building. Nigga live in the same building as the brand Nubian nigga. And I try to tell people that they don't know the grind. And back to what I was saying, that I remember it was a show, and you guys did it in Penn State, and I'll never forget it. Method Man was headlining the show. And Jay had the GS300, Dame had the GS300, and I was Dame Little Man, and you was Jay Little Man. And I went to the show. I was just getting back out of college, getting back in the mix with everything that was going on. So when I got there and I seen Jay open up, now mind you, Bleek, it was so crazy for me to see Jay open up for Method Man, and then later on do the Rock the Mic tour, if I'm not mistaken. And they was kind of, not saying they was opening up, but they was early on the roster. And I'm like, yo, what a full circle. But the reason I remember it was you is because I said, yo, who the hell is this nigga he got with him who doing this song, Coming of Age? Because that shit was dope. I remember y'all did it at the Castle in the Bronx. And I'm like, yo, I gotta step my shit up. That kid is aight. You know what I'm saying? So when did you, and you know, that's the grind that people don't know. When did you realize that this shit could explode Roc-a-fella, your career, and Jay-Z's career?
Like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Who You With video.
Okay.
That was the record for me that was like, hold on.
Right.
This shit working. Like, they got my dog music in movies now.
Right.
Like, you know, the radio was one thing to accomplish. You know, back then was Ralph McDaniels. He was the homie, so he play your shit on Video Music Box. You was lit.
Right.
But to get your songs in movies on a soundtrack and they paying for the video, that's when I knew we in a different atmosphere right now.
Jay-Z wasn't just ahead of the game. He was the one who built the rule book everybody else started following. Where I hear Cameron and Bleek talk about him like that, it doesn't sound like they're praising him out of loyalty. It sounds like they're describing somebody who understood life on a different frequency. Think about it. Before he was Jay-Z the billionaire, he was already living like somebody who knew where he was headed. The fish tanks in the wall, the GS300s, the mindset, that wasn't about showing off. That was about setting the tone for how he wanted to move. That's why people around him respected him before the fame even hit. What's crazy is this just shows you how much discipline it takes to be that far ahead. Jay-Z was never caught up in the noise. He was studying the landscape, watching people make mistakes, and using every lesson to tighten his own plan. You can tell from how Bleek describes it, Jay-Z didn't move broke because he never thought broke. That's the real gem right there. He had the mentality of wealth long before the money even showed up. And look, that's something we can all take from this. It's not about having money. It's about having structure. Jay-Z understood branding. He understood presentation. And most importantly, he understood patience. He didn't rush for validation. He built his own leverage. And that's when opportunities come. He wasn't begging for them. He was negotiating from power. That's what always ahead really means. What I like about this clip is that Cameron and Bleek are giving perspective without any ego. They're not saying Jay-Z was better than anybody. They're just saying he thought differently. That's what made Roc-a-fella Records move like an empire instead of just a regular label. Everybody played a role, but Jay-Z was the blueprint. Not because he said it, but because he lived it. And when Cam said he only knew 560 State Street Jay-Z, that said everything. It's like saying, I didn't meet the dreamer. I met the one who already turned a dream into structure. That's the part most people overlook. They see the end result, but never study the foundation. Jay-Z's foundation was built on quiet power, smart money, and real consistency. Jay-Z's biggest flex wasn't becoming a billionaire. It was being billionaire-minded before the world caught up. He made business look cool without even calling it business. He showed you that hip-hop could be a vehicle, not just a soundtrack. And that energy clearly rubbed off on everybody around him. Cam, Bleek, even Dame. Whether they agreed or not, they all benefited from that mindset. So let me ask y'all this. When do you think Jay-Z really separated himself from the pack? Was it the mindset from day one or the business moves later on? And do you think artists today still study the blueprint? Or has that long game strategy disappeared from hip-hop? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.